Good day, everyone. This is Patrick from EasyFX Code Trading System, and this is Saturday, the 11th of September, 2021, and this is the weekly technical analysis for Euro, Cable, and the Aussie dollar for the third week of September. And let's begin with the Aussie dollar. And as we highlighted last week, after hitting the testing the recent high and the resistance zone, it has started to pull back and retrace back to the 38-fib retracement of this swing move. And it stayed below the daily 200 EMA, and it has also fallen below the daily 55 EMA, still hovering around this key trend line from end of last year, and sitting right near the just above the monthly pivot, where it could try to test next week. So just below the 118 level. And that's also at the 50-fib retracement area of this swing move. So that could be a test of this area. If it does break through, then there should be key support at the next fib level, at the 62-fib retracement level. Okay. So let's just extend this as the immediate resistance zone, support zone. I think we'll bring it down to this 50-fib and the monthly pivot area as well. That's going to be right in the middle here. And it is possible that it could try to extend below that. Let's identify this 38-fib or this 62-fib as the possible target for next week, but it's still very small range. So this drop from last week is only about 80 pips. All right, so in case bit confused, we can also just use this as the retracement of this swing move here. And targeting the 50-fib retracement, and then perhaps the 62-fib retracement. All right. There's only very minor news this week from the Eurozone with just final CPI. There's also some medium impact news from the US. So we'll see how that will impact the Euro as well. And let's take a look at the US dollar index, DXY, to see its recovery from the bounce of this 38-fib retracement, and it's trying to move back into, move through the resistance zone, and it did spike through, but then pull back, and then now it's sitting right at the 21-fib retracement level. So there is some ultimate support from the daily 55 EMA. So we'll see whether it's able to break through next week, and then it's just going to consolidate in this range until the following week, where there's going to be the key Federal Reserve meeting. If it doesn't break through, then there's it could just consolidate within the lower range. So we'll see whether it's going to, which zone is going to consolidate at, but the likelihood that could be a follow through higher. Okay. Let's move on to the cable. Oh yes, so last week the ECB did have their monetary policy decision, and they did reduce their asset purchase, their QE, the QE program, which is the PEPP program for the pandemic response. And it was expected and also slightly dovish, and that's why it has stayed below the daily 55 and remain weaker for the week. But nothing substantial, no major retracement yet. It needs to pull back further. All right. Let's move on to the cable, where the Bank of England will also be announcing their monetary policy and rates decision the day after the Federal Reserve, so the following week. So next week it's likely still going to consolidate within this range below the 139 and possibly above the monthly pivot at the 137.71. So last week was a pullback and then a V-shaped recovery by the end of the week, but just to test the recent high, but fell back right to the weekly pivot for last week, and which is sitting right at the daily 55 EMA here as well. Okay, so let's extend this resistance zone that's still valid, and this support zone is also valid at the 138 and the 55th retracement of this swing move. So it's stayed above the 62-fib retracement and the daily 200 EMA as support. Let's also just flip this over so they can see the retracement levels. Okay, so that's the 62 fib here. And the 21 fib is confluence with the 139.00. And the 50 fib is sitting nicely just below the 138. Right, this week there's only some minor news with jobs report, CPI, and retail sales. So also need to watch out for any trigger from these, as well as the US news. Okay, let's move on to the Aussie dollar. And after testing the 139.00 EMA, 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 139.00 EM the resistance at the daily 200 EMA, pull back and then a retest of that, and also rejected and fell below the daily 55 EMA. And it's similar to spot gold, where it tried to retest the support turn resistance zone and fail, and still weak for the week. And in this case, the resistance zone is where the 0.7400 along with the daily 55 EMA is as well. So let's also just extend this to the resistance zone now. Support is still at the 7300. We can also now move this fib to full swing move, and let's just flip this over so you can see the retracement levels. And the 21 fib aligns with the daily 55 EMA as well as the weekly pivot for last week. So that turned into resistance. And it's trying to target the 38 fib retracement, but the key one will be at the 50 fib retracement just below 0.7300. So that's going to be the key support zone, along with the monthly pivot just below that. Okay. So the monthly pivot is at 0.7282. So this is actually a major support zone now. And on last Tuesday as well, the RBA did delay their tapering from September by an additional 3 months due to the extended lockdown in Australia. So that was this rejection from the daily 200 EMA, and then quickly fell below the daily 55 EMA, and even gapped down the following day as well on Wednesday. So this was deemed to be dovish, and that's why the US dollar has been retracing lower. All right, so do check out my other videos on spot gold and dollar yen, and have a safe week and a good trading week, and cheers for now.